So, welcome everybody. My name is Kristof Fenyvesi. I'm really happy to greet you in the physical space in University of Jyväskylä in central Finland, and also in the virtual Zoom room. This is the FinnUruSteam project webinar. We had a very happy news that more than 200 people registered online, and I think it takes some time why they can onboard. We are already a growing number of participants we have, but let's give a few more seconds for the people to join.
Hello everyone, good morning. In-person participants.
Buenos días a todos.
Great.
días.
Buen dia. So in Finland it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and we have a very happy day because it's very sunny and beautiful and warm. This is how I came to work today, and it's like a miracle.
Son las 3 de la tarde en Finlandia, así vine a trabajar. Está muy soleado y caluroso.
So we will start with introducing you to this Padlet that you can see on the screens shared. You can see that it has 4 sections.
Vamos a comenzar con un Padlet que tiene 4 secciones.
We will encourage you to share your comments and questions in this Padlet throughout the event. And you can also vote for the most important or interesting question or comment. And the most popular ones will be discussed with our speakers.
Los alentamos a que completen las secciones durante toda la sesión y el más votado o los más votados serán comentados en la sesión de Zoom.
You can write the questions and comments in English or in Spanish.
Pueden escribir los comentarios y las preguntas en inglés o en español.
And when the presentations start, Elena, that is helping me already translate to Spanish, she will be an interpreter. And you will be able to turn on the interpreter mode in your Zoom.
Y cuando la presentación comienza, ustedes van a poder activar el botón para la interpretación.
So we will be back to this Padlet, but now let's start today's event with an introduction to our research group. And I will invite Kristof Fenyvesi to the stage. Actually, we should be on the stage. What do you think? Yeah.
Vamos a empezar con la presentación de nuestro staff. Comenzamos con Kristof.
So, it's a great pleasure to see you, and there are more than 50 participants online at the moment, and I'm sure that this number will grow as we go forth. I see.
Es un placer ver que hay más de 50 participantes esta mañana. Esperamos que siga subiendo ese número.
I see that the chat line is already very active, so please keep yourself active, interactive. That's also one of the goals and one of the topics of this international session, to get to know each other and to get into discussion around topics like STEAM. What is the main topic of this webinar? You will hear more what this acronym of STEAM, science, technology, engineering, arts and mathematics integration mean in different educational context. And it's my great pleasure to introduce University of Jyväskylä to you. So I'm involved in the innovative learning environments research group, and I'm very active in the multidisciplinary learning research and STEAM research. So we are located in the middle of Finland. As you can see, there is a little pin on the map of Europe. That's where we are. We have hundreds or even thousands of lakes surrounding us. The University of Jyväskylä is also a beautiful, sustainable campus with a lot of green areas. And we are representing here the innovative learning environments research group, as I already told. And this research group is belong to the Institute for Finnish Education Research. And we are really active both in national and international level. We are collecting the PISA data, for example. Next slide, please. And quite a few other international assessments we are active with. So PISA is certainly you heard of, but there is TIMSS and several other global surveys where our goal, our mission is to collect the data from Finland. So the Innovative Learning Environments Research Group is focusing on the one hand on how the environments of learning, the learning spaces, which can mean physical spaces, physical environments, but can also mean the mental, emotional, social environments of learning, and how the learning process is affected actually by many components in the learning environment. And we have a large membership. We work with a lot of researchers combining also expertise from information technology, from education research, from humanities to the sciences. So it's a very wide, very colorful, very bright research group. So I'm really glad to work with these people. And as you can see, we are really socially and emotionally oriented people, so STEAM education, integrative approaches to education really fits also to our personalities. So well-being and phenomenon-based learning is very central in the Finnish core curriculum. So multidisciplinary approaches are really needed to approach this kind of complex issues. Sustainability as well is a very, very complex topic which is more and more represented, fortunately, in all schools around the world. However, these new possibilities also set new challenges, not only for the teachers, but also for the students, obviously. So we try to map what are the good solutions to cover this kind of complex issues. So one of our main project, what also brought us here, is the FinnUruSteam project. As you can see from the name, this is connecting Uruguayan teachers, Uruguayan teacher trainers, and Finnish teachers and Finnish teacher trainers. So we try to combine our best to bring this kind of integrative approaches forward. And when I mentioned Uruguay, we have, interestingly, another project connecting Uruguay and Finland. This is called the Multiled project. This brings us even closer to the topic of the learning environments, because it is absolutely focusing to explore learning spaces, that school buildings, and how school buildings design affect processes in these environments and learning processes. Today we'll cover these topics from even more international angles, even more perspectives will be invited on stage today in this webinar, because we are very lucky to have some of our international partners on site now in Jyväskylä. We have from Serbia Professor Aleksandar Ignatinovic, who is a professor of methodology of teaching physical education in Jagodina in the University of Kragujevac, Serbia. And he will introduce one of our international European projects, what we are realizing right now at the moment. Another speaker from today is Jukka Sinnemäki, who is another globally recognized educator. He is well known to be one of the finalists of the Education Nobel Prize. It's a Nobel Award. It's called the World Global Education Prize. And he's also one of our colleagues and very active both in the everyday education and also the research about how everyday processes of education could be improved by activating the students also physically and also socially and on many levels. Next speaker together with Jukka Sinnemäki is Tiina Mäkelä, who together with Jukka very deeply involved in the Joyful Schools project. So we will see how Joyful School concept and happiness in schools are promoted with multidisciplinary approaches. And you already got to know Orsolya Tuba, who is one of our hosts today. So she will keep you activated also during the webinar. She will keep return to the Padlet platform and will pick up your questions, comments, and bring you on stage. So please be very active on the Padlet platform. Please be very active in the chat. And don't worry to put any comments, any questions come to the topic, come to your mind to be discussed during the webinar. Another person who plays a big role of today's program is Matias Mäki-Kuutti, and he will also support the activation. And now he just keep telling me to slow down, don't be too fast, and have enough time to have every information transmitted to Spanish. So I would like to invite on stage my dear friend and colleague Aleksandar Ignatinovic from the University of Kragujevac. The title of his talk is The Role of Physical Education within Educational Systems and its Integration into STEAM Educational Concepts, the STEPAM model. So this is a very long and complicated title, but I can summarize it very simply, easily. So how to combine physical activities with STEAM and STEM approaches. So Aleksandar, the stage is yours. Please join.
Thanks.
And enjoy your talk.
Thank you everyone for receiving me here, and thank you for your time and attention. So as the first picture clearly presents, I'm dealing with physical activity, with children physical activity. And main government bodies and the main publication statement are clear in one thing. They all agree that children are having not sufficient physical activity. And we all know I believe that we all know what are the benefits of physical activity and everyday active style of living. So I don't need to spend time on repeating this. The overall well-being, it's clear enough. So interdisciplinary approach is very popular in the last 2 decades. So many publications are published in this period of time. Many research and publication were published in this period of time. So here is a slide. We stopped with the physical activity levels and current status. All the data, all the publications are showing similar trend. The obesity is getting worse. Even I put a lot of weight in recent times because of the way of living. because of a lot of workload, and a little physical activity, or not enough. Let's put it that way. So most probably, if we continue like this picture would be even worse and worse. The situation is similar, not to say same, in all parts of the world. No matter rich or poor countries, the situation is getting worse and worse by each year. So these were the latest, not latest, but the main publication and main resources in the last few decades, the interdisciplinary approach in physical education. So that led me to an effort to try to also contribute to these efforts. I developed a mobile app with several thousands of games. It's titled 365 games, one game for each day in a year. And this is the cornerstone of developing interdisciplinary program, because when I started making this interdisciplinary program and started with interdisciplinary with physical education and mathematics, and the slides look very good, but we needed to put more games and to try to put it more interesting to children, to develop a wider base of physical activity in order to make a good and comprehensive program that can be sustainable. So we don't need too much of equipment. This was our tendency, to try to make it simple and affordable to all teachers in all parts of the world. We started with the most basic activity. Two groups. The children were competing individually. Who will first find the solution of the task? So you can see a simple task, balls with the numbers, and competition between two players or two children, and it went really well. But they competed one against another, and we tried to make it a little bit more advanced. So we included all children in the settings and tried to give them not a competitive way, because today trend is more toward cooperation in the world and not just competition. And but today we tried this in Finnish school, and the children weren't so motivated to do it in the same routine and even with the competition. So maybe the individual approach is somewhat better, and also depending on the task and the age. So we decided, we need to adapt the task for the children aged, but also to adapt activities that some are a little bit harder and some are a little bit easier. And also one additional thing we also today noticed again is that not only interdisciplinary approach is sustainable by itself with too many additional tasks, but there should be some essential physical activity, game or something with just physical activity, with basic physical activity. So after physical activity and mathematics, we try to put even more subject. We try to put arts, giving children chance to draw, to try to do art class before physical education, and also science, to explore some other very important topics related to science or geography or biology. And after that they will go to gym and try to do some kind of exercise. This was concretely a memory game. So they are showing, these are my students, not the children. They are showing if they found the same sign or not, and their task, like in memory game, was to find the same two symbols in order to achieve a point. So all the children should pay attention and to see what are the signs chosen, and if you want to make it a little bit more difficult, they will need to jump to come to the sign, or crawl or walk with all four legs, even though there is no four legs. So basically we don't need too much equipment. We're trying to be as most affordable and most applicable to all part of the world. And now we are in a process of developing STEPAM program, STEPAM concept. This concept is aiming to make interdisciplinary program with all the topic the Kristof mentioned before, all the areas, including science, technology, engineering, mathematics, arts, and of course like a physical education.
Please put all the questions and comments to Aleksandar in the Padlet. I see already some comments. Unfortunately, I'm not very fluent in Spanish, so I would like Elena's help already now, because we have some comments here.
The application is free. We will develop. I already developed the application, and the application is half free, half commercial. Like full version is commercial, but I plan in the next months, because all the games that will be included in the STEPAM project will be freely available, so locked and unlocked and open to a public, because we have funded from the projects, and we will translate it. I hope I will translate it in the next few months in several languages, including German, French, and Spanish, I believe.
Es gratuita y la aplicación va a estar en alemán, francés y español.
So I see a longer comment from Cecilia.
So she's basically talking about the challenges, which are multiple, and that in some of the world they experiment some poverty, and also technology is a challenge, because in some of the cases a lot of the students can manage the technology before than the teachers, so they need to be on track constantly in that sense, and some of the plans do not contemplate these issues as fundamental, like in art or sports. And let's not even talk about the fact that there's a lot of disemployment regarding professors. Okay, it's just a big challenge to educate in these times.
That we teachers have like many different jobs and places where we work, so it's quite a challenge to educate. I mean, nowadays.
Okay, thanks. So I'm coming from Serbia, and we are not considered as a rich country, and we all faced all these challenges regarding the equipment, regarding the resources. So my focus was then to try to use some not say simple equipment, but something that we can easily find in the regular life that we can use, or just not ask for a lot of resources in order to develop the disciplinary games.
I'm sorry. No vengo de un país rico, vengo de Serbia, entonces intentamos seleccionar material que sea fácilmente accesible y que se pueda costear de manera barata.
Something else? Next?
Let's pick one question from under the evaluation and assessment one. And Elena, could you please translate the one on the top from Natalie, who is a professor of chemistry, if my kitchen Spanish is right?
Yes, I'm a chemistry teacher, and I already have activities that I can do with chemistry and physical education. In the modality it was shown by Alexic, I think we can link physical education with other subjects with this modality, and it is a way to collaborate, prevent obesity in our students. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. We also had I also had a project with physics with older students in elementary school in higher grades, but also chemistry is closely connected with physical activity. So I'm not regretting that I learned chemistry in my high school, since it was essential for studying sports and physical activity and exercise in the human body. So it's
También realicé un proyecto con física, pero creo que con química también podría ser otra opción, que está muy conectado con la educación física y los cuerpos.
Yes, another from Cecilia.
Okay, so basically she's asking if there's any strategy. DUA es diseño universal para el aprendizaje, so it's like universal design for learning. The question is basically if there's any modality that enables students to access in a real way. Let's say, like, if everybody can access to this kind of activities that is universal design for learning. If there's any modality where we can include every student with all the characteristics.
Okay. It will also depend on the circumstances and depend on the teacher, and as the session says, strategies or challenges. Every time I see some kind of challenges, and I don't believe that there is universal approach, and especially with the children with special needs. And I believe that today one girl had some special needs or was just not willing to participate fully. So we need to...
Depende de las circunstancias y de las estrategias que se apliquen. Creo que no hay nada específico de educación especial. Hay hoy por hoy una alumna con necesidades especiales o dificultades de aprendizaje.
So we needed to adapt and to modify some things and to help her to finish her task. And not everything is going according to a plan or something that we wanted to organize. But in every class, you need some modification during the class.
Tenemos que hacer adaptaciones para que pueda abordar este tipo de actividades. Es como en todas las clases que hay que hacer alguna modificación para que se ajusten a las necesidades de todos los estudiantes.
If I can say something on behalf of the Finnish education system that you may have also noticed during your school visits today. In Finland, I think this kind of model is really based on the values of like freedom of choice and individualization of education.
Yeah, and I noticed also in Serbia we are starting with it.
And individualization. So kids are a bit, for example, if it's about physical education and STEAM, I think in the next presentation you will see some images from Finland, how it can be realized in a classroom.
Bien, de forma que se pueda individualizar de acuerdo al estudiante en cuanto a la educación STEAM y la educación física. Y en las siguientes presentaciones van a poder ver un poco más detallado esto.
Thank you. And I think this is a great transition to our next presentation. So you can learn more about how we do STEAM and physical education in Finland after Aleksandar's great presentation. Thank you very much, Aleksandar.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Ahora van a poder ver cómo hacemos STEAM clases en Finland.
Okay, so hello everyone, my name is Jukka Sinnemäki and we will quickly introduce our Joyful School project with Tiina.
This project is European project, so we have a little bit broader perspective here.
So it's titled, as we see, Active Learning Strategies for Health, Wellbeing and Growth Mindset in the Digital Age. And just a couple thoughts of that topic, a joyful school. There's this parable that when you plant a tree, you believe in growth. And I think anything we do or we invest a lot of resources or time, we have to believe it. And so we believe that this project is important to find real tools to actually support that any schools could be joyful schools. And we will find few elements how and what to apply into the school environment. So there is a lot of studies, different studies about what is happy school, joyful schools, and we don't have too much time in here, so we spend more time in the discussion just in a second. But when you see those 5 different areas, there is one common thing. These 5 areas, the common or the key thing is that we can actually make a big changes without any resources. Too often we hear complaints that if we would have something, if we would have better facilities, if we would have something, then things would happen. But actually a lot can happen. Very shortly about this research, I was observing my students for months to try to understand what is their cognitive capability to learn and actually just stay during the school days 5 to 6 hours per day. And as we see, okay, it starts here from Tuesday, but the idea is that the line should come back about the same level where it starts each day. And this describes 60 to 7% of the students from this group I was following for months, that they are training, their energy, their body resources, as we see, are going down and down. And with this understanding, for teachers, we should or we could rethink how the classes look like. How do we do the things in everyday schooling? And one other scene, I was able to see the student as a batteries, how fully they are recharged when they come to the schools, to understand who hasn't slept, who hasn't been eating, who hasn't done this or that. So technology can reveal many things, as I saw through these months and years observing the students. But as a result, as I told earlier, a lot of things can be changed for positive without technology. What does it mean if we are able to stop, to reflect what's happening? And this is not only talk for the students, this is mainly for the teachers. Teachers lead with an example. If we are always in a rush, you always complain or you are aggressive or kids sense something negative from the way you act, that has a huge impact. To prioritize things, it's very difficult if we are not able to stop. Everything gets blurry and we often make wrong choices. And I believe we all have examples from our lives. Briefly about this Joyful School project, we believe that there are a few core fundamental things which are scalable and can be used in any country, in any culture. Here we can see the activities we have planned, and I will break them down very quickly before I give the mic to Tiina. How do we practice resilience? We know students nowadays are not that patient anymore. Everything should come easy. And back for the research what I showed you, if we know our and students' sleep, nutrition, sport, recovery activities, etc., it's put a whole lot different perspective to understand who are our customers, what kind of students, what is their well-being, holistic well-being, while we are trying to teach them and educate them. And not only influencing the students and teachers, but also for the policymakers to make a concrete difference in our curriculums, to have positive transformation. And we believe that the well-being is key for everything. I often like to say that we have a lot of choices in everyday life. Then we make decisions and they are followed by consequences. Our one wish or hope throughout this project is that how we can help teachers and children to make such a choices that the consequences would benefit them. And I believe this is the last slide from myself. There's a saying, how do you can prioritize things? You need to stop first. And when you start to fill your calendar, that actually somehow valued based, what comes first and what comes second. But if we are not able to stop, as we saw on that one slide, we often make choices which won't help the holistic goal we are aiming to. But overall, we do want to work together with teachers to encourage them to collaborate and to help in any ways we can.
Gracias, Jukka. Thank you, Jukka. Gracias, Elena. Thank you. This is exciting. I think we are practicing this, how to be patient with technology. I think in Spanish it says, la paciencia es la madre de ciencia. The patience is the mother of science. And this is very much related to what we are doing in this project. At this very moment, we are working with the focus groups and interviews. Actually, today we here on site in Finland, we are going to work with that. So we want, in addition to checking the research literature, what does it say about the well-being, we want to hear teachers' opinions, what teachers say about well-being and how they define it, what are the concepts, but on the other hand also how would they put these things into practice, the practical perspective. So this is the way we develop this competence framework to have the concepts of well-being, and based on that framework we will develop this course for teachers to support their well-being. So happiness, felicidad. We are just finishing, but here you can see the initial framework. So you can see there in the middle the joyfulness, which is the goal in this project. And of course this joyfulness is something, it has to do with our individual well-being, including emotional, cognitive and physical dimensions of well-being. And of course we are not here alone. This is very much related to our social well-being, the next layer, and there are also parts such as economic well-being, which is fundamental in the case that we need to survive, right? And then on the other hand, the cultural well-being. Actually, the culture should be more within social well-being. But here you can see maybe novelty in this framework we're developing. We have the planetary well-being. It's something we haven't really seen in many models, that in order to be well as an individual, as a society, as people, we have to take care of the whole planet, the sustainability issues and so. Yeah, so maybe I'll show you. So this is something we're developing at the moment. I'll show how it looks like at the moment. Oh, somebody translated even. Wow. We are working today in Finland with our focus group with this. I think the most important thing at the moment is that if you're interested in knowing more about this, our work with this well-being framework, you can go to that page and get more information from there. Creo que es todo de momento. Esperemos estar luego visitándoos en Uruguay y en otras partes para compartirlo después. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Podemos abrir el micrófono
También.
Y comentar.
I think this is still more comment to the earlier presentation about how when we integrate different subjects, it's challenging how to find the time. And she's saying that we need teachers need more professional development and also extra maybe use of extra school activities in that. Yeah, I'm thinking that maybe if teachers had like ready-made activities that they don't have to plan a lot by themselves, they can just take and apply, it would be good.
Creo que si hubiesen actividades ya planificadas sería más fácil de aplicar.
If you could shed light on strategies regarding positive reinforcement in the classroom, Jukka, do you wanna any strategy that comes, Jukka, to your mind as a teacher?
Bien, ¿cómo reforzar positivamente o alentar a los estudiantes? Si hay alguna manera alguna estrategia de refuerzo positivo para la clase.
Refuerzo positivo.
Just a couple of ideas for this shedding light question. I don't know how it goes all the places, but I know a few countries, Finland included, has started to focus a whole lot more for the students' identities, personalities, and understanding as an individual personalities instead of just to bring the content into the classrooms.
Bien, en Finlandia se ha empezado a trabajar más en las individualidades, en la identidad del estudiante y no tanto en el contenido de las clases.
Of course, need to mean there has to be enough autonomy for the teachers to be creative.
Tiene que haber suficiente autonomía para los profesores para poder ser creativo.
Of course, it means something in terms of the environment and the space.
Y por supuesto esto incluye algo, lo vinculado con el ambiente, con el espacio, el medio ambiente.
But to simplify, according to my experience,
De acuerdo a mi experiencia, para simplificarlo,
the most important thing is how you connect with your students. How do you connect them?
lo
as
más
a group?
importante
And
es cómo conectamos con nuestros estudiantes.
and how do you meet them individually? Just an example.
Y cómo conectamos con cada uno de forma individual. Y lideramos con el ejemplo.
If anything so-called goes wrong, let's say that students come late few minutes, they act strangely for whatever reason, or they haven't done their homeworks, what's our first reaction?
Imagínense en el caso en que no hayan hecho los deberes o que hayan llegado unos minutos tarde. ¿Cuál es nuestra primera reacción?
I speak from 25 years of experience.
Hablo con 25 años de experiencia.
And the biggest change, positive change I have seen when I had to humble myself and to listen to students much more than to try to push my own agenda.
Y hablo desde la humildad, desde el lugar en que tuve que posponer mi planificación para poder pensar más en el estudiante, en lo individual, en cada uno.
And even we're supposed to be a professional educators or teachers, it's not easy to be just me. It's not easy to be transparent. It's not easy to be weak.
Y no es fácil ser transparente, no es fácil ser débil desde el lugar del docente.
But if you can create your team as a team that you are going to the same direction, so you don't have to
Pero si
feel
podemos crear un equipo que va hacia la misma dirección,
so you don't have to feel that you are the only engine what pushes, but when you can engage all of them, but it only the key is that the kids feel that they are cared, loved, and you value them.
y que no, en definitiva no somos solo nosotros el motor que empuja hacia adelante, sino que todos como un equipo y empezamos a transmitirles a los estudiantes que valoramos quiénes son, que nos importan ellos.
Referring to one really, really big research, it's found internationally that the worst thing we can do as a teachers for students is to humiliate them.
Lo peor que podemos hacer como docentes es humillarlos. Esto se ha probado en diferentes estudios.
And unfortunately, there is still quite a bit of that existing, using shame or using a fear to take the authority, and that should not happen.
Y desafortunadamente todavía hay casos de esto donde usan el miedo o el avergonzar a los estudiantes, y esto no debería suceder.
So, long story short, we could always blame something, we can always blame the circumstances, we can always blame something else, but I think if we are brave enough, the change have to start from ourselves.
Siempre podemos culpar o a las circunstancias o al contexto, pero en definitiva nosotros tenemos el poder de cambiarlo. Empieza en nosotros eso.
Alci said that we know, based on research, that teacher well-being is related to student well-being. So that you can't really separate these aspects. You have to be well by yourself because you transmit your anxiety, your stress, whatever it is. So it's really important that we take care of both teacher and student well-being.
El bienestar del estudiante y del docente no están separados. Si uno está bien, el otro también, y en definitiva tenemos que cuidar a ambos para que las cosas funcionen.
Should we check a couple of more from Cecilia? Soy docente de biología y muchas veces las cosas que usamos son de forma intuitiva. And so normally as a teacher what we do is intuitive, right? En mi caso uso todas las estrategias que están a mi alcance para lograr transmitir esa pasión por la ciencia que yo experimento. Salidas didácticas, plataformas educativas, participación en proyectos y clubes de ciencia. So she's explaining that she's using the strategy she's using she's passionate about the science and what she's doing, and she's doing like going the trips outside, the field trips, and using different platforms different projects, different club activities, and so on. And it's true that oftentimes it comes naturally from teachers intuitively, but if not, it shouldn't be like only those who have this intuition do that. We should also have these tools to help all teachers to do the same, right?
But this is
No debería ser solamente lo intuitivo, sino que tendríamos que tener todas estas herramientas para poder llevar a cabo estas actividades.
but this is a great example that if you have this opportunity to take students out for the field trips or anything like that, I think we all have experienced that when you change the environment, you see how the class behaves differently. For example, school trips at the end of the semester, those students you are worried about in the normal classrooms, they probably behave the best when you go out from the school. Or you are amazed that, oh, I never see this side of these students.
Es muy interesante ver cómo cuando se realizan salidas didácticas o paseos de fin de año, finalización de semestre, cómo logras conocer a los estudiantes desde otro lugar.
Of course, if you're not exhausted by yourself, that's the requirement. I'm going back to taking care of yourself, because otherwise you are too tired to organize all these extra activities.
Si no estás muy cansado, y bueno, volvemos al bienestar del docente, que se necesita tiempo para realizar todo este tipo de actividades.
And maybe I have been talking talking a lot, but it's a really relevant question in daily basis for all of us, that can we be kind to our students regardless of their behavior? I'm
Y
not
siempre hay una pregunta que nos hacemos, es si podemos ser amables con nuestros estudiantes más allá del comportamiento que ellos tengan.
I'm not saying that there shouldn't be consequences according to their stupidities or something what should be punished, but I'm saying that your general attitude.
No digo que no tenga que haber alguna especie de rezongo en cuanto a las actitudes.
Maybe we could also ask if there's some comments from our audience here in Finland.
Hi.
You take it from here.
No. Hi. I just have a question, like more in general for both of you, or Kristof or Aleksandar also, mostly directed to how did you implement these strategies about joyful education or combining STEM education, but when you have students with high capacities, one or two students with high capacities in the same groups where you have normal students, let's say it like that.
Una pregunta más general tengo para hacer, cómo pueden aplicar estas estrategias donde tienen estudiantes con altas capacidades y otros estudiantes que no tienen las mismas capacidades, diferentes niveles, cómo logran aplicar el proyecto de Escuelas Felices.
I can say one idea.
Oh, Jukka can start, and
Yeah.
then you can.
Yeah, no, that's a really relevant question, because it seems, at least what's happening in Finland, that the most resources goes directly for those who are slow learners and who do need the help most.
La mayoría de los recursos van a esos estudiantes que más lo necesitan, por eso es una pregunta muy interesante.
And for the high capacity or the fast learners, I think many teachers are pretty much alone to solve how to support fast learners with the high capacity. And I really do hope that this project would give tools and answers which are scalable in many countries, hopefully.
Los docentes se encuentran bastante solos en cuanto a estudiantes con altas capacidades y bueno, esperamos este proyecto comience a dar herramientas para este tipo de alumnado también.
Thank you. This is the similar situation is in Serbia as well. We are more committed to the slower learners than to advanced learner. So your question is really good, and today I try to involve all students together, like slow and fast learners, the students that don't understand. Maybe the tasks were easy for everyone, but still this approach today wasn't the best for everyone in the same time. So we will have to develop some other strategy, especially in physical education, to make a combination of difficulty of tasks and including physical education together. So this will be very hard task to implement it in a good fashion, in good way, in a good quality.
Esto sucede en Serbia también y bueno, ha sido un gran desafío poder combinar las diferentes actividades. Nosotros tenemos a todos los estudiantes juntos y a veces hay actividades más fáciles, otras con mayor dificultad.
Yeah, just one example from previous week. I was in a discussion where pretty much the same question was asked. The result was that when we have slow learners, they are basically forced to get support, whether they are motivated or not. But then when the question is, or the support, if it's available, but when it's available for the fast learners, many of them say we are not motivated, and that's it.
Los estudiantes con rendimiento más bajo van a ser apoyados más allá de si están motivados o no.
And in many cases, parents are requesting from the teachers that because my kids learn fast, please could you support them? And the answer could be from the teacher, I tried, but they are not motivated.
Y muchas veces los padres de los estudiantes con alto rendimiento les piden a los docentes si los pueden apoyar, pero el problema es que esos estudiantes no están motivados y en ese caso sí eso está perjudicando, digamos.
And that's kind of the key, that how we can keep the motivation high up with the fast learners. What is the communication needs to happen between the teacher and the fast learners?
Y ahí está el tema, la comunicación que tiene que haber entre los estudiantes de alto rendimiento y el docente para poder mantener esa motivación.
Yeah, I also saw that they ask about how many students are there in the classroom, right? What would you say, Jukka? How many students? Because it depends a bit.
Those classes which are led by one teacher, maybe the average could be even closer to 20. But some of the newer schools we have 2 or even 3 teachers, which means that there's 40, 45 students in a classroom.
Hay 45 estudiantes en las clases.
Sí, entonces depende de que si hay solo un docente, puede ser que tenemos 20 alumnos o 25, pero hoy en día también tenemos co-teaching, trabajamos en equipo.
Otra docente trabajando en equipo.
Sí, y entonces podemos tener 45 alumnos, pero 2 docentes, por ejemplo. Entonces varía mucho. Y si vamos a la escuela secundaria, esto de 35 es también normal hoy en día. Yeah, this 35 students is also in a high school. It can happen in Finland.
Podemos tener hasta 35 estudiantes en el liceo en Finlandia.
I would maybe mention about this, like we all share this challenge of having big number of students and how each with individual needs.
Todos tenemos este desafío de lidiar con clases numerosas y poder estar presentes en las necesidades individuales de cada uno de los estudiantes.
And maybe on a societal level and even as a teacher, I need to make a decision who to prioritize. Debemos pensar que las prioridades, yes.
Sí, como docente tenemos que pensar a quién priorizamos. Tengo que tomar esas decisiones en clase.
And I think in Finland, the politics in earlier days have focused on making sure that the weak ones, everyone gets the basic level. So it has been like a political decision. So we have left maybe the talented ones a little bit behind.
Hemos dejado un poco a los más talentosos atrás por hacer mayor hincapié en aquellos estudiantes con mayores necesidades.
And I think when you have reached that level, that everybody gets the minimum, then you can start to think of this is my personal opinion, the most talented ones, when you make sure that everybody gets the basics somehow.
Yeah,
Esto es una opinión personal, pero cuando todos llegan a un nivel básico, recién ahí podemos pensar en cómo continuar y cómo abordar lo mismo con los más talentosos y llegar a más.
Sí, eso de priorizar, una reflexión que cada docente también tiene que hacer en su clase. Es un poco triste que no tenemos recursos para todo, pero we have to prioritize as a teacher like how to use the resources. What are our objectives as a teacher?
Tenemos que priorizar nuestros recursos y ver cuáles son nuestros objetivos como docentes.
Okay, thank you. Gracias. Ha sido súper divertido.
Okay. I give place to the translation. So we are closing to the end of the session, but please don't leave yet.
Estamos terminando la sesión, pero todavía no se vayan.
So, Sirpa, you probably want to say something, so please switch on your mic and speak.
Yes, can you hear me? Okay, thank you. Yes, and thank you very much. So this was the first part of our webinar series in May. Thank you so much, Jyväskylä, for your input. I was just wondering about this last presentation about a very important topic of well-being at school. So, because our project is about STEAM education and STEAM in teacher education, so maybe I and some other listeners would like to hear a bit more about what is the meaning of this well-being to STEAM education, and especially STEAM in teacher education, which is the topic of our project. So that remained a bit unclear. Maybe you could just say some words about that to make the connection more clear.
Capaz que pueden decir algo al respecto de la educación STEAM y el bienestar en general. Tal vez no quedó del todo claro y quieren hacer algún comentario al respecto.
I think Kristof is our STEAM expert, but I'm the well-being expert here. So this is true that we have to really consider that. I mean, well-being is holistic everywhere, and I think Kristof can comment it because my understanding is that when we integrate different subjects, when we don't focus on this and the separate, we are also working in a holistic way, which is supportive to well-being. So I can see the connection between STEAM, integrated STEAM activities and well-being. But Kristof, what do you think? And
I will add
the translation first.
I will add my comment, but let's wait to Elena's summary.
Yo sí puedo ver la conexión entre el bienestar y la educación STEAM, pero me gustaría dar la palabra a Kristof.
So thanks a lot for this very important question. So you always ask, what's the goal of learning, right? This is always comes up when you learn something. That why do I learn? And why I'm
siempre nos preguntamos por qué aprendemos, cuál es el objetivo del aprendizaje.
As many learners there are, as many of us in the society and in the world. So there is no unique single answer to this question, but we will have our answers all over the world, different answers to this question. Why do we learn something?
No hay una única respuesta para esta pregunta. Hay diferentes respuestas para poder describir esto, por qué aprendemos.
However, if we look for this shared common goals of learning, somehow to fulfilling ourselves, self-fulfillment, realize our dreams, or fulfill our goal in society, or be more successful. So this well-being seems to be like a very good open umbrella term, which is not predefined. We can define it ourselves. However, it means that we can be more feel home in our world.
El bienestar es un término muy amplio que de alguna manera responde a todas estas preguntas del aprendizaje.
I think when we talk about integration between different subjects, it also means to go beyond the subject limits, the subject boundaries.
Cuando hablamos de integrar las asignaturas o unidades curriculares, pensamos en ir más allá de la asignatura en particular.
So when you think about problem solving in life, not only in the school but in life, you can certainly utilize some knowledge coming from this or that subject.
Cuando pensamos en la resolución de problemas, no solamente en la escuela, sino en la vida, podemos recurrir justamente a estas asignaturas, a estos aprendizajes.
But usually when you find an answer or when you come to a next question or a next problem, it's usually your own answer. You must make it for your own.
Cuando nos encontramos con un determinado problema, nosotros tenemos que lograr encontrar la solución a ese problema, una respuesta. Cada uno pueda encontrar una respuesta a ese problema.
So that's how, at least in my interpretation, well-being needs to be considered in education and learning and school settings, and the engagement to be happy to learn whatever, to be able to learning how to learn. That's really the makes the connection, at least for me, with the well-being.
Es por esto que bueno, el bienestar tiene que estar presente, y ahí está la conexión del bienestar con todo esto. Debemos estar felices en las escuelas y que todo tenga un sentido.
Thank you, Kristof. Very good connection with well-being and our STEAM project. So we will have a very happy STEAM project and which promotes well-being of both students and student teachers.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sirpa. I think we have a closing comment or question from Gabriela, who is also raising hand. So, Gabriela, please switch on the microphone.
Hello, good afternoon. Bueno, muchas gracias por este espacio. Me parece valiosísimo el intercambio que podamos hacer de nuestras propuestas educativas.
Thank you so much for this space. I think this is very valuable, the exchange we can have regarding the different programs and activities related to education that we can implement.
Especialmente son disparadores de algunas propuestas teóricas y análisis pedagógicos sobre lo que significan las escuelas felices, lo que significa el bienestar docente. Acá hay justamente participan dos colegas, Marta Irigoyen y Solange de Lema en Uruguay, que tienen un proyecto muy interesante sobre bienestar docente.
We have two colleagues here in Uruguay that have a very interesting project related to well-being. And, well, everything that you have said about theoretical aspects have been really relevant to listen to.
Entiendo que todos los procesos están atravesados por las emociones, todos los procesos vitales que desarrolla el ser humano, y muy especialmente la educación. Por lo cual el bienestar es sin duda un pilar importante para enseñar y para aprender.
I understand emotions are really connected to education. As a consequence, well-being also it is, and it's essential to learn.
En ese sentido, entiendo que STEM o STEAM, su mayor aporte es la alfabetización tecnocientífica y la construcción ciudadana.
I understand that this is very important for citizenship and literacy in terms of technology and science.
Agradezco, antes de finalizar, a los colegas queridos de Finlandia, a Kristof y a su equipo, y bueno, y los aplaudo. Y estoy encantada de esta oportunidad que me dio la vida de compartir y aprender. Gracias.
I want to thank you to our colleagues in Finland and the opportunity I had to learn and share all this knowledge with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Gabriela, for these wonderful closing words. It's good to hear that we have several connections, and we will open it up in the future of this project. Okay.
Gracias.
Philip Davis, you want to speak as well?
Hello, Kristof.
Hello,
How are
Philip.
you?
Very nice to meet you.
It was an excellent presentation of the STEAM approach in education. The last speaker presented his point of view of well-being in education. And I think that was a wonderful lecture about how teachers' attitude is basically all.
Bien, creo que ha sido una excelente presentación, especialmente la última, en cuanto a la temática del bienestar.
I started teaching as a teenager, 47 years ago, at the age of 18. And now I teach at a university, working with teenagers and some older people. In one moment of my career, one of my assistants in another university that I worked, after a practical class, a laboratory class, came to me. She approached me and said, "Philip, these are your students. They are not your enemies."
Comencé a trabajar a los 18 años, ¿verdad, Philip? Dijiste. Me quedó.
Sí, correcto.
Perfecto. Ahora trabajo con estudiantes adultos también. Y uno de los docentes en un momento se dirige a mí y me dice, Philip, estos son tus estudiantes, no tus enemigos. Thank you.
And well, I realized that at that moment that I could not go on teaching because I didn't have the positive attitude to treat young people.
Me di cuenta que en un momento no podía seguir dando clase porque no tenía una actitud positiva hacia los jóvenes.
At that moment, I quit my job.
En ese momento decido renunciar a mi trabajo.
And many years later, I started working at the Facultad de Ciencias Agrarias en la UDE.
Y muchos años después decido trabajar en la Facultad de Ciencias Agrarias en la UDE.
And my main objective in my job is to have a good time.
Y mi principal objetivo en mi trabajo es pasar un buen rato.
Have a good time, but with seriousness, obviously.
Con seriedad, por supuesto.
My way of treating students is with respect. I think that the base of everything is respect towards
la
the
forma
students.
en la que trato a mis estudiantes es con respeto, porque creo que es la manera en la que nos debemos conducir hacia o responder hacia los estudiantes, con respeto.
And that is a mutual. It's a two-way activity, if I may say.
Y eso debe ser mutuo.
Well-being, thank you for the way that it has been expressed in this lecture, because
Muchas gracias por la forma en que se ha expresado lo que es el bienestar en esta presentación.
Because before of this, I haven't seen it that way. Because students also need to have a good time when studying. And that is the way that, in my case in particular, I approach education.
Porque antes no lo había visto de esta manera, de que el bienestar siempre tiene que estar presente. Y esta es la forma en que yo doy también mis clases, mi enfoque.
So,
siempre tiene que estar presente.
I try to always have a smile in my face. And I have other non-conventional strategies to have the attention of the students. Like, for example,
Trato de siempre tener una sonrisa dibujada, pero también tengo algunas estrategias poco convencionales.
Like, for example, last Halloween, I dressed up with a mask and a black cloak, and I visited all the classes. And it was hilarious. The faculty, it was like an hormiguero.
Por ejemplo, en la fecha de Halloween pasada, me vestí con una máscara y una capa negra y recorrí la facultad y fue extremadamente divertido.
So thank you very much for this closing of my ideas that I really didn't know how to express them. Once again, thank you and hope to see you soon.
Muchas gracias por poder cerrar mis ideas de esta manera, que no sabía bien cómo expresarlas, y espero verlos muy pronto.
Muchas gracias, Philip Davis. We are really grateful for your support for this project. And just as you call their attention, that moments worth to remember. And also this speech of yours and this closing words of yours, definitely one of those moments worth to remember. So thank you so much for opening up this story from your life.
Tu aporte es sumamente valorable para este proyecto. Muchas gracias por tus palabras. Muchas gracias por haber contado esta historia de tu vida. Realmente han sido palabras sumamente importantes para este cierre.
So with this lesson learned from Philip and all the speakers, I would like to say goodbye. And I would like to invite you to the upcoming webinars, which will be hosted by all the partners in the project. So see you soon and welcome back to the FinnUruSteam webinars. Thank you so much for your participation.
Los esperamos en el próximo webinar de Finnish-Uruguay. Esperamos que todos participen en las siguientes oportunidades y muchísimas gracias.
So goodbye, everybody. See you soon in the next webinar. Thank you so much for the important thoughts.
Goodbye, college, goodbye.
Thank you.
Goodbye. Congratulations.
Muchas gracias.